Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to All About Racing for the second round of the season in F1 Power Grid. We're overviewing Division 2 this evening, the Champions tier, back for Division 1 next week. We do have to apologise to Division 1 for last week's stream, and we had problems with the internet, but we should be all good for this evening. So, Spa-Francorchamps for the second round of the season, 7.004 kilometres and 4.36 miles in length, the longest circuit on the calendar. 22 laps to race around here. A little later on after qualifying, 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. We're full throttle here for 70% of the lap, an elevation change of 102 metres, that's 335 feet in old money, and 2 DRS zones down the Camel Straight and the start finish as well. The C4 soft, C3 medium and C2 hard tyre are the tyre of choice for this evening as we get ourselves underway. And looking at the standings, Rev winning last time out in Kota in Div 2, that do Jack in second, Beefy Boy third, fourth Rumsky, fifth is Benzilla, sixth is Tita, Prof in seventh, Never Fear eighth, ninth is RB, Looney Man is down in 10th. We have Aston Martin leading the constructors, McLaren in second, third are Sauber, fourth are Alpine, fifth are Racing Bulls, Mercedes in sixth, seventh are Ferrari, Red Bull are in eighth, ninth are Williams, and Haas are in 10th place, with the only team to have no points. We'll be quiet for just a minute for my usual, just getting the drivers' names all correct, so just bear with me a second as I go quiet. We'll just watch Rev on his outlap. So we see Revsky come across the line. Sorry, still not finished with the times. We were almost there. Actually, only got one more to do. With Mr. Beefy Boy now taking provisional pole with a 142.398, should I say, as we just get the last one done. Bear with me. Okay, so we are all good. We've got two drivers who have retired, obviously with some form of ban early on. Is Revsky going over the Lacombe chicane, and Viking Fox going sixth fastest with a 143.2. Just had another driver come across the line there. It's Quakes Gamer, fourth fastest in that Aston Martin. We've got RB in the Red Bull going sixth fastest, and Jonathan Mooney going sixth fastest just ahead of him in that Scuderia Ferrari. His teammate Milanist is just behind him, and I think just started a lap. I don't think his teammate, or is he going to give him a bit of a tow here down the Kemmel Straight as he lifts off up the hill looking for his Ferrari teammate. As here comes Milan and through, and been given a helpful, nice tow from his Irish teammate as they roll on down the hill into Brussels corner, turn 8, and just watching Looney Man about to complete a lap is Matty. He's just pretty much started his first lap going across the DRS zone. Of course, going to be no more in a few months' time as we move on to the DLC update on F125 to the 26 cars, as DRS has gone and we've got this manual override mode, or MUM, or whatever you're going to call it, for this extra boost of energy around the lap with the one detection point. So it looks like we're going to have rain forecast for today's race, and some drivers opting for the higher wings for those wet conditions in the braking zone, which of course will sacrifice them in dry qualifying. Of course, with this being the longest circuit on the calendar, it's the shortest amount of laps. Quite a few places to overtake though around this place as the Sauber there gets out of the way. As we go down into the final corner, as we've got the... Oh no, we don't have the engine glitch. It was an early upshift there from Matty, and he is 14th fastest, not the best lap. His Williams teammate comes down the back straight towards the final few corners as we go up through the left-hander here of Blanchimont, and back to the left-hand side for the final two corners of 18 and 19. The bus stop chicane rising uphill, right to left, uphill again through that final corner, tight on the entry, tight on the apex. Across the line we go, and he's only 15th fastest and 2/10 behind his Williams teammate Wiggy in the Racing Bulls, coming around the chicane in the middle of the lap. That's turns 12 and 13, the Fania chicane, and now through Paul Ferret and on to this Laurel Blast, full throttle all the way down through Blanchimont, down to the bus stop chicane. We're going to hit around 198 miles an hour. When we go into the apex of turn 18, we're at 50 miles an hour, or 315 kilometres and 80 kilometres an hour at the apex of turn 18. Out to the final corner we go, and across that DRS line and across the start-finish line. Fourth fastest for Wiggy is at 142.6. Two drivers in the 142.6. The two Silver Arrows doing very well at the moment. Prof and Looney Man, as the Welshman is back out on another outlap with just over 8.5 minutes left to go in the session. We'll have plenty enough time to do another run after this one as he comes down the hill into turn 8, Brussels, as Wiggy gets out of the way for faster cars. That dude Jack just about to climb up the hill through a Rouge, and then at the top of the hill through that left-hander of Radion, and now down the long Kemmel straight. DRS open down here. And through the next sequence of corners as we exit Malmedy and into Brussels again, and really get a lot of understeer at Brussels through turn 9, no name corner, and down the hill into the lightning fast left-hander of Pouon. Nice and steady on the steering wheel for the 19 Racing Bulls. Into the double right of Paul Ferret. As we do have yellow flags flying, that's for, I think, the other Racing Bull car behind. As you hear the car bottoming out at these high speeds through into the final corner. Personal best in the first and second sector, of course, with no lap under his belt as of right now. As we're looking at other laps, I think Wiggy, it looked like he might have been on another attempt, but I don't think he is. Mr. Beefy Boy, however, is on another attempt. Personal best in the first and second sector. No purple sectors for him so far, though. Has got a car a little way up the road. Might be able to give him a bit of a tow through Blanchimont here, as some drivers now taking a little bit of the grass on the entry of that left-hander of Blanchimont into the right left of the bus stop. And fastest overall, and he did actually, now says he did do a fastest overall middle sector, where it didn't say that before. So we got Rev coming up to the line now in the McLaren as he comes across the line to go second fastest overall. A very good time from him, and fastest in that final sector. Has he got more of a qualifying setup on that McLaren in this session? With supposed rain coming later on, and his McLaren teammate Viking Fox actually invalidating his previous attempt. Is Rumsky now coming up to the line through the final corner in the Sauber. Of course, Audi, which has released their livery today, is the Audi Revolut Formula One team. And I have to say, I did not rate the livery at all. It looks horrible. Just so blocky. Silver at the front, and then you've got this line all the way down it and a bit of black and red at the back. It just a bit unimaginative, I guess, would be the word. So we're just over 4 minutes left in the session. Massey going slowly down the Kemmel straight. Jonathan Mooney coming up towards the line now. Personal best in the first and second sector. As he comes up to the line, where's it going to put him? Quite high up the board. Fifth fastest for him there. A 142.3. So Rev just on a in lap. I know we can't see the time on the board, but I've got it on my screen here. We've got just under 4 minutes to go. 3 minutes and 50 seconds now on the clock. So enough time for drivers to get in and get back out again. A long out lap here though, of course, over 2 minutes, 2 and a bit minutes. Got to keep an eye out, and we've got the two different McLaren liveries. They're allowed to do that online now, which I find quite confusing as commentator, that you get to, one car gets to have the standard livery and one sometimes has the one-off. Doesn't matter if they both have the one-off, but it's strange that you can have one or the other. But I suppose it's a nice customization for online. As Matty starts what could be his final lap into Les Sources, and arguably might have completely ruined the lap pretty much as it got started. Massive oversteer out of the first turn through Rouge and climbing up to Radion, over 25 metres of elevation change up that hill. As we climb even further, may not see it on the camera, but we are still ascending up towards the Les Combes chicane, as he is down well and truly in that first sector, and arguably should be backing out of the lap to go again, but doesn't have the fuel to go again. So this has got to be his final attempt. He may be able to go faster. He needs to have an excellent second and final sector. Still got those yellow flags flying, and that's for slow moving cars. As you can see them all out on the track now in a big train of cars ready to start their final runs, with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock, as you can see at the top of your screen for just a split second. It's so irritating. It should be white flags rather than yellow, shouldn't it, for slow moving cars? Hopefully with a year out they might be able to fix some of these problems, get back markers to unlap themselves during safety cars, that kind of thing. It would be good for the game, if I'm honest. So Matty has improved in that second sector. Is he going to improve up to the line? Maybe just. No, was just down and stays 17th fastest. The two Williams, where they used to really preside for quite a long time in the last few years towards the back of the grid, and Haas as well. Williams, though, last couple of years been doing very well. I'm not used to down into these positions, but it looks like it could be a Haas and Williams back 2 rows, unless Olaf can get a very decent next lap on the board, as most drivers now about to start their final laps as they take the wider line, just straighten up the car for this short shoot start finish straight. But just to give yourself, it could even be half a tenth you make out of that final corner starting your lap if you just square off the corner and get that wheel straightened up earlier, and you can get your foot hard down on the firewall. As we go up the hill with Mr. Beefy Boy with the Sauber ahead of him of Never Fear, as we go up and over the crest, and DRS open. As we go down the hill here and reaching almost 340 kilometers an hour as we hit the brakes, and then completely out of shape and into the wall. And Mr. Beefy Boy has ruined his final attempt by using that slipstream. Could have cost him dear in those final moments as well, as Revsky is the last driver to cross the line with only seconds to spare. 3 seconds left on the clock as the first car comes across the line, and it's that dude Jack who takes provisional pole position by a absolute smidge from Mr. Beefy Boy, who is unable now to respond and has gone very slowly. That dude Jack has retired, but he won't impede anyone from now on as we wait for the next cars to finish their laps. So we'll just try and get an idea of where people are. We've got Matty, who's going slowly. We've got a Sauber going past. That's Never Fear, as he is up on his lap in the middle sector. We don't know if he's up overall. We'll find out at the very end of the lap in a few metres' time. As he crosses the line, he must have been down and comes across the line backwards. Won't impede anyone across the line. As Wiki comes across the line, he moves up a place, almost 2 tenths faster than his previous attempt. And then the Aston Martin, but there is a bit of a crash on the start-finish straight, as we got Prof coming up to the line, and Rev as well. He is still on an attempt and a personal best in the first and second sector for him as he comes around Blanchimont corner, as that dude Jack puts in the comments that everyone else has invalidated. There was someone else across the line. Quix Gamer, he goes fifth fastest. Cam Rev, Pip, that dude Jack to pole. No, he can't. He stays where he is. That dude Jack takes the second pole of the season. He's on top in Spa in qualifying, and we'll be back for the start of the formation lap in a few moments' time, and that's the end of proceedings. You'll see the order up on your screen in just a moment. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for this start. That dude Jack on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we go then. The start of the formation lap. We'll have a look at everyone's tyres, medium and hards across the board. For everyone, it was in the end a back row of Haas and Williams combined. Irish Scouser didn't have the best of qualifying sessions either as Slave. Slaviv has retired. And his teammate, I'm not even going to try to attempt to pronounce that. Actually, should we give it a go? Ivanov? I'm going to go with that, Ivanov. We'll see if we can remember that in the heat of the moment. So, top four all starting on the hard tyres. It's a all British top four as well. And with Quix Gamer running that, the Dutchman was starting in fifth. Prof sixth, Jonathan Mooney seventh, Rumsky eighth, ninth is Wiggy and Carl starting just inside that top 10. So everyone just preparing their tyres. I'm ready for the start. There is your pit stops. It's looking like a one stop medium to hard, hard to medium. Unless we do get rain, which might not be happening now. I'm not sure. Might be later on in the race. People starting on the hard tyre. I take that as a pretty safe assumption. So that do Jack now just coming up to the grid. As we've got Ivanov starting at the back. As he lines himself up on the grid. And as we get ready for the start. So, dry conditions for the start of the race. So we're talking about rain. It may come later on. That dude Jack on pole. Mr. Beefy Boy alongside him. 5 red lights. And foot's flat to the floor here in Spa-Francorchamps. And that dude Jack gets a very good start. Mr. Beefy Boy, though, under pressure from the McLaren behind as he's on the inside into turn 1. And Quake's Gamer goes into the rear and then into the side of Looney Man after, into the rear of the McLaren of Revsky as they come up the hill and through Rouge and Radion as they appear at the top of the hill. And now down the Kemmel Straight. No DRS, of course, on this first lap as that dude Jack takes a defensive line and Mr. Beefy Boy is well alongside and ahead into turn 1. Is he into the Kemmel, out of the Kemmel Straight? Sorry, just losing myself all over the place. That dude Jack still in the lead, and Revsky down in 3rd place. Quake's Gamer moved up a place into 4th now, and we've had one serious loss of positions. That's Milanis now down in 20th and last as that dude Jack still leads the pack out of the next sequence of corners. Anyone going to go for a move here? The Aston Martin of Glorious Striker looking for an overtake. Then on the inside at the Fania chicane and into Paul Ferret has to stay behind Matty as they all come through. And now the long stretch down towards the bus stop chicane as the gap increases to over a second for that dude Jack as we come through into the bus stop now. As we start the next lap, and as you can see, just over a second ahead is Mr. Beefy Boy, who will be desperate to try to get back in to DRS range as Irish Scouter has done a pretty good job at getting himself up a series of positions. Is he going to make another one as we come up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion? Of course, the other drivers ahead will have DRS as well, but has he got his car set up for straight line speed at the moment? No, the battery is completely depleted as we see Slaviv going into the next corner and trying to make up a place. Never fear, however, the Scotsman going around the outside at No Name corner and makes up a place as Ivanov makes up a place as well, and Oraf as they come through Pouillon corner, and it's all action packed at the back of the field here for these final points places. But of course every position does count in F1 Power Grid, with points all the way down to 20th and last, and still got a full field of cars in play as we go towards lap 3. And Mr. Beefy Boy, the only one being able to create a bit of a gap to others around him, as we wait to see if Ivanov is going to be able to make up a place here on the outside. Will potentially no. I thought he might have the inside for the final corner, had to slot back in behind the Sauber as we go down into Les Sources. A battle here Three-car fight, is it side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion as they go up the hill, still together as they go across the DRS line. That was spectacular racing from the McLaren and Red Bull driver there. Viking Fox stays where he is for now. Massey, the first driver to get a time penalty. 3 seconds is the time penalty for him. And now losing a place to Oraf as well. As Oraf does go all 4 wheels off the track there, that was for sure. So close fight behind that dude Jack, but he has lost a bit of time here. And there's got a horde of cars behind him. So we go up the hill and they're all keeping within a pretty close distance of one another towards the front. As Carl gets closer and closer alongside and ahead of the Mercedes of Prof, and those two obviously had a good start to proceedings. Prof losing out on 4 places. Looney Man losing out on a place so far this evening. As Mr. Beaky Boy got himself in a pretty tidy position here. Not too far behind, and in a place where he can attack the Racing Bulls driver. A lot of battery to play with as well for the first place man. And Koyak's Gamer putting in a very decent lap 4. Timing screens lighting up. Purple first sector for him. Mr. Beaky Boy does have the fastest lap overall as it stands right now. A 1:47.251 is the fastest lap so far today. Let's see if Koyak's Gamer can improve on that coming across the line. He's improved on his lap, but not the overall lap. It didn't come up on your screen, as you could see. Now that dude Jack won't have DRS to defend, of course, and will he have DRS overtake to defend? He does have quite a bit of battery to play with, but so does Mr. Beefy Boy, so does Revsky as well, as they open the DRS and go on the hunt for the Racing Bulls driver as they go 3 abreast into Lake Com, and Rev gets the lead of the race. And Koyak's Gamer takes a place as well, and that dude Jack down into 4th place. A huge amount of speed from the McLaren driver. Low downforce setup for him. Clearly the track is, of course, it's got a bit of overcast cloud above the circuit, so the rain may still come, but that was lightning fast from the McLaren and seized on the opportunity. Those 3 cars not making contact, and then Koyak's Gamer taking that opportunistic pounce on a 3rd place position after I just said he'd done a very quick lap 4 and done a very good overtake in lap 5. And so as we go down the back straight towards the bus stop, are we going to see a sequence like this again? Of course, we've got a DRS train all the way down to 10th. You can see how compact it is in the bottom right of your screen on the track map, and then a gap back to Viking Fox in 11th, 2.5 seconds back to him. And you can see in the background just how many cars are all together as one. Feels like we're almost on a safety car lap rather than a racing lap. They're all so close together, and Reski has obviously got a very good launch out of that opening corner. Did win last time out at the Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix, as Mr. Beefy Boy does close in on that gap. So does that do Jack, who will be really white knuckling the steering wheel at the moment, I can imagine, after losing almost a handful of places on that previous straight on the lap before. Bit of a lock up there from Jonathan Mooney, was it? Never fear, an Irish Scouser fighting for position as the Scotsman makes up another place around and near that no-name corner. And there are some raindrops falling. Definitely saw some raindrops falling there. How many laps have we got of these conditions until drivers have to change? We're just coming up to the start-finish straight, the pit straight, and obviously won't be happening this time around as Mr. Beefy Boy thinks about a move. And they all go around on another lap as yellow flags fly in the final sector for only but a second, as RB does go into the pit lane. 10-second penalty for blocking the pit lane illegally for RB as well, and retires from the session early on. Irish Scouser, his Red Bull teammate, still in the session and pitting by the looks of things for intermediate tyres. Here comes Mr. Beefy Boy with a DRS enabled, but for how much longer? And that dude Jack as well behind, making up a place as well into this sequence of corners. Here comes Looney Man, the Welshman, going up against Rumsky into Les Combes chicane. Has to stay behind for now. A driver's going to pit onto the inters or wets at the end of this lap. The intermediate tyres have gone on for Irish Scouser, so we'll keep a close eye, and drivers, if they're listening, will keep a close ear onto what is going on with Irish Scouser's lap time. We'll keep an eye, we'll keep you updated on his pace throughout this outlap. So I think it is still too soon to come in on the intermediates, just by the looks of it. We'll obviously get a bit of data from Irish Scouser in a minute, who just gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as we speak about him as well, as they go on another tour of Spa, another 4.5 miles or thereabouts. And it's the trickiest track to make calls about tyres in intermediate conditions, being the longest circuit on the calendar, and by quite a distance as well. The longest circuit is actually outside the regulations of how long an F1 circuit can be, but because it's an historic circuit, it gets special dispensation, just like Monaco does, for being too short as well and too narrow at the same time. Irish Scouser probably not having a load of fun on those intermediate tyres. Probably been a bit hasty, a bit of a silly call. The rain's falling a bit, but not really causing any problems. So we'll see what he does for his final sector. Not many corners. We'll keep an eye on his first sector time as well after that. So he's done a 29.5 in the final sector, and we'll let everyone know what he does on his on his first sector time and medal for this lap as well. think we will get the information of the first sector with a second or two to make your decision for the leaders. Anyway, other drivers who might be listening will get a bit longer to find out as Milanis makes up a place. As we get the first sector time, it's a 32.5, and he's about a second behind the dry tyre times, even though they've used a bit of their tyres as well now. So staying out is definitely the right call for now. For Jonathan and Looney Man and Prof as well, his teammate. That's a bit of a risk, double stacking for those two. Going to be looking at a 21 to 22 second pit stop window time here, as Prof is certainly going to be held up a little bit by this. And Mr. Beefy Boy in the lead of the race at the moment. Are they going to come in at the end of this lap themselves? So field has spread out a bit. It's those mixed conditions at the moment though, isn't it? And it's not really hammering it down at all in terms of the conditions. But it's going to get to a point very soon. Maybe the drivers who put on the hard tyres have made a good decision, because this is the point now where pit stops are going to have to come in anyway, and you're going to have to make your mind up whether to go to another set of dries or carry on. That dude Jack comes in. He has been on the hard tyres, so he could have gone a few laps longer, maybe 3 or 4. Of course, they will be going a bit slower now as well. Track temperature drops a little bit. Got an air temperature of only 17 degrees over the circuit at the moment, and a track temperature of only 23 degrees. So pretty cold. The grip's not going to be brilliant. You can just see how cautious they're being. And compared to the intermediate times, it's going to start getting interesting. We're going to keep an eye on this lap. That dude Jack being the first driver on the intermediates, but the first true driver. I say true, I mean in terms of, I think they're doing a full lap this time around, is Koyak's Gamer. And they're just being overtaken right now. And I think it's still the point of dry tyres. Is it getting close though? Could be getting very, very close. So, a fight going on here around Blanchimont corner. As we wait to see if Ivanov is going to make a move here into the next corner. No, he's not, but the weather is getting worse. And there goes Viking Fox diving into the pits as Matty stays out. He's been on those tyres since the very start, 10 laps. He's been on those tyres as Prof goes through. This could be the lap now, I think, to potentially change over. The top 6 all still on the slicks, all still on their original set of tyres. Carl, the only one on a medium set of tyres. Let you have a quick look for yourselves. And definitely the weather just starting to take effect as well, as the track temperature has dropped another degree in the last couple of laps. So the water definitely starting to settle onto the circuit. Probably got 3 laps at most, the hard tyres, really, realistically, as they decide to go again. In a bit of a mistake for Mr. Beefy Boy at the apex of the final corner of turn 19. And I think Rev is just sticking with his rival ahead. And I don't think any of the intermediate runners are really making much of a difference right now. As Carl comes into the pits for intermediates as well, it's really one of those tricky situations. John there has gone a bit wide out of the corner, kicked out the rear, and has lost a lot of time to Koyak's Gamer, who is on the intermediates. John actually just gone to a set of hard tyres and is hoping that these conditions kind of stay, but you can see the water really is starting to settle on the circuit now. But I think the drivers at the front, the top 5, have pulled a bit of a blinder here, and a couple of others behind, because we've got Irish Scouser now out. Both Red Bull cars are out of the session. Irish Scouser making a pretty stupid call, coming in so early on onto the intermediates. No other way to say it, really. And is bowed out of today's race. So is Mr. Beefy Boy going to come in this time around as he comes into the final corner? And Rev crosses the line to start another lap on the hard tyre. There's a few others stay on the slick tyres for another lap, lap 13 of 22. Has Mr. Beefy Boy made the right call here? I think he has. It might have been the perfect lap to go on to the intermediate tyre. So, how many have we still got left to pit? Top 4 still not pitted, all on the hard tyre, all obviously started from the get-go, and Mr. Beefy Boy getting a 3-second time penalty there. That was a really bizarre line he took there. Must have had a massive snap to get himself that far off the circuit. Strategy call seems to be working quite well for Mr. Beefy Boy. There's others that will need to pit as well. As to the top 4 are going to pit. John as well, he pit earlier on, I think, maybe hoping that the weather wouldn't get so bad, or maybe had some damage, something like that, and had to pit. And conundrum of intermediates or hards for later on in the session. Both Saubers in at the same time. So Jonathan goes into fifth. He stays out again on the slicks. And I think really at this point, have we still got DRS enabled? Actually, we do. That's interesting. It might have been disabled now. Does kind of give you a clue there, doesn't it, about the conditions with the DRS. It does give you a bit of a helping hand. Sorry, we just missed this move here between Mr. Beaky Boy and Wiggy. You're going to keep an eye on the sector times again. And see how that all plays out. So Rev now comes into the pits on lap 14. And will drop down to... might actually stay in third, or it's going to be close between him and Jonathan maybe, as they come up towards turn one. No, Rev comes out in third place. It's pretty good for him as well. On to the intermediates this time around. I mean, I'll be actually finally lead the session. We've been in watching for quite some time, I'll honest. Coming out of the pits onto medium tyres. Interesting. I'm interested to see if anyone longs it out, goes onto the slicks, mate. Goes on the slicks, sorry. Goes onto the soft tyres towards the end of the session. So these guys can be able to catch up to one another again. Decent gaps between the three of them. Interesting to see what John does here. He could go to the end, of course. I believe we still have DRS enabled as well. I haven't seen the instruction is that dude Jack comes in now, and I think the rain is stopping, you know. These have been absolutely fantastic conditions, to be fair, for today's race. The changeable conditions. I think John might have actually played a bit of a blinder here. And if he just holds on, we'll keep an eye on. We'll have a look at his laps, what he's done. We have quite a long way to go to finish on these tyres. He's still got a lot of life left in the tyres though. He's looked after them a fair bit. He's got Rumsky now on his outside, trying to go for the move at Brussels, now into No Name Corner. And the weather isn't getting any worse. It's really on that knife edge of intermediates and wets at this point. And I think the one or two have stuck to the slick tyres. We'll go back and have a look as we see the Haas here of Ivanov trying to go for an overtake there. Into the next corner we go. Into that right-hander, and that do Jack up the inside of Never Fear. And now Looney Man making up a place, and so is Ivanov as well. Into Blanchemont corner. Anyone going to go for a move into... Oh, Ivanov, and then loses the back end. Does ghost out, and we've got Rumsky into the pits, maybe going on to a set of slicks. And as I said, this is just interesting on Jonathan Mooney's part, because the intermediate drivers are struggling to get past. He struggles to get the power down, but once he does, he gets a bit of that heat generated back into the tyre again. And it's just been very, very interesting, and keeping an eye on the Irishman, seeing what he can do to defend. As here comes the Dutchman, moving past and into third place. Does have time penalties to his name, 6 seconds of them. Mr. Beefy Boy has 3 seconds, 9 seconds in the lead though, as it stands right now. Yeah, the rain's never got any worse. I'd arguably say it's got a bit lighter than it was at its worst point 3 or 4 laps ago. That dude Jack at the inside of Jonathan Mooney there at the first of the 2 corners at Paul Ferret. And down towards Blanchemont we go now. And here comes Jonathan Mooney. Thought he might go for it into that corner. But it really is neck and neck between the intermediates and the slick tyres as we go across the line. Here comes that dude Jack on the offensive here, down the inside into Les Sources, and moves up into 4th. Our pole sitter and former race leader, and now up into 4th place and on the attack on those intermediate tyres and getting them to work well in these conditions. Jonathan Mooney maybe just starting to fall out of favour on those slick tyres, and it's been a hell of a gamble for him. It still could pay off. You know, it's close, but potentially not, and then going wide. And the track temperature is still sticking at the 22 degrees, and here comes that dude Jack, who's got a point to prove here up against Quirks Gamer, and goes through into 3rd and has a point to try and get back to the lead. But it's 17 seconds, it's 14 seconds with the penalty ahead of him up the road with only a handful of laps to go. It's not likely to happen. The two at the front are on intermediates as well, so there's no difference in tyres or anything like that from slicks to inters. I think we're actually starting to move back towards those intermediate conditions now as well. But it's really been a headache race for strategy, and not having a team behind you to work it out and doing it all on your own is quite tricky. So as we cross the line to start lap 19, and Jonathan Mooney comes towards the start-finish line as Revsky goes onto a slick, soft tyres, and I think some others might be doing the same. You can't even see the rain, can you, on the offboards? It's all on the onboard cameras, so you can really truly see it. I think the rain's actually, again, just starting to get a bit lighter again. So as I said, lap 19 and 22, I haven't said it all day, all stream, should I say. If you could, guys, it's been great, the attendance on the stream, 16 to 18 viewers at a time. Really nice to see the support. If you could all hit the subscribe button, that would really be appreciated. It's so close to 500. We have got there and dropped off again, so if we could get a few of you subscribing, that would be really good, just to get us over the 500 mark. And it's been really good to come back to watch Div 2 again today. And just to note, it was never made public. Just at this quick quiet point, obviously I know a lot of you know what happened with me last year. Rather touching, obviously doing a lap of honour for George, but me and my partner, literally amazing, same year, 2 different children, had a little boy called Ollie at the end of November, and healthy, happy, almost 8 weeks old now as well. So yeah, wouldn't change it now. It's lovely, and lovely to have a happy, healthy baby as well. So I know it wasn't made public, but I know I commentated on Division 2 around that time when it was when he was on his way. So just thought I'd let you all know. And yeah, really, me and her are both very chuffed a bit. Didn't say it last week. The stream was very iffy last time out, and again, apologies to Division 1, which we'll be back for next week. For the Qatar Grand Prix, as Wiggy overtakes Ivanov, and Rev goes through into 7th. And now the slick tyres going to have been the right call at the end. I'm not sure where he made it. Jonathan Mooney could get himself a podium by the end of this one. But Never Fear is on medium tyres, slightly newer as well. It should have better grip, but really going to be struggling for grip at all. We've got Carl and Wiggy catching them up rather quickly. Going to have 2 laps to go when we cross the line. Seconds separate Mr. Beefy Boy and that dude Jack, as Mr. Beefy Boy comes in. This is unprecedented. I wasn't expecting this. What's that dude Jack going to do? He's going to stay out, isn't he? Surely. He's just been gifted the lead of the race. Why is Mr. Beefy Boy come in? Why has that happened? He's going to lose a place to Jonathan Mooney as well. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. No, he comes out in 2nd. Amazingly, only 6 seconds behind, but with 2 laps to go, this is going to have to be some feat, and I'm not sure if the slick tyres are going to be the one to do this. Keep an eye out on the final 2 sectors. He's also got to gain 3 seconds. I mean, I don't understand what Mr. Beefy Boy was thinking here. He's going to be catching at a hell of a rate. And then he's clipping into the gravel as well. We've got a retiree in the pits, down to 17. We've had a very good attendance to the end of the race. I mean, Matty will be classed, I think, as he's got so far. He got to the end of lap 20. I think that would be over 90%. Or is it 80%? It could be only be 80%. I just don't see this happening. I mean, we are at the point of slick conditions now, aren't we? This could be close. It could be close on the road, but with the time penalty, I'm not sure if Mr. Beefboy is going to try and appeal this decision of the penalty. I'm not sure how many warnings or anything like that he's got right now. But he's going to gain 6 seconds in 3/4 of a lap. I just don't see that happening. I really don't get that at all. Here comes Never Fear. Is he going to have a go this time around? DRS open, but the battery drained completely. Is he going to go for a lunge on the outside? He really does think about it. Almost gets there. Almost gets alongside. And it has dried up. Today's been spectacular with the weather. It's been brilliant. Couldn't make it up. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, if he hadn't had the penalty, this would be so exciting. He might try and appeal it, of course. And we haven't got this so close fight for third place into the last few corners. He's never going to gain 3 seconds. I think he's going to try and appeal the penalty, is he not? Surely he's going to outbrake that dude Jack into the final corner, and if he's appealing the decision, this could be for the race win as he goes on the outside and easily goes past as they come into view. He goes into the lead. Here we go with Never Fear, who dives up the inside and is blocked off. Is he going to get the switch back into the final corner? Oh, and I'm going to steal it. I'm going to steal it from the Racing Bulls race engineer from last year, Jonathan Mooney, Minister of Defence for the Republic of Ireland there. That was absolutely spectacular at the end. I'm sure Never Fear is going to be fuming about that one at the very end, but Jonathan Mooney getting himself on the podium. I don't think he ever went to the slick tyre as they all sort of bunch up at the bottom of the hill of Eau Rouge for whatever reason. That is the end of the session. We're just waiting for the last car to cross the line, which will be Slaviv in just a will be now. And there is your race winner, the driver who did start on pole. I wonder if the decision before is going to be appealed. We can have a quick look still with this information now. I'm assuming that's Mr. Beefy Boy, is it? Who's just commented? Or that dude Jack, I'm not sure. But anyway, that is the end of today's race. I'm not sure if we'll be back this season in Division 2. We'll be back next week with Division 1. But if we're not, been a great race to judge. Mr. Beef Boy says he gets 3 penalties in one corner. And could potentially be a race win for him then, and that would be a spectacular end to the race, and it's just unfortunate that we have that time penalty as well. Well, thanks very much for watching, everyone. As I said, please subscribe to the channel. Really, really appreciate it if you do, and like the video as well. We'll be back next week for Tier 1 Masters in Qatar. Until then, have a good week. We'll see you next week. And thanks for the support. See you then.